Hi everybody, it's Mr. B, Hayfield Secondary School engineering teacher, and this is video 7 in this series of videos on the Delta Dart project. If you're watching this video, what the assumption is you have completed construction of your Delta Dart, and it should look something like this. Hopefully you had your wings flaring up more than this one does, but anyway, it's a finished Delta Dart. So what this video is about, it's about testing your Delta Dart, adding control surfaces to your Delta Dart, and then testing again. We're going to test in their two phases, okay, two steps, because the control surfaces are critical for controlling an aircraft, absolutely critical, and they change the performance of the aircraft quite a bit. Behind me up on the board, I'm going to show you the document. This is in the classroom. This is what you will turn in for grade on this project. I'm going to walk you through it really quick. It's not meant to be a really heavy duty, lots of writing and all report at all. That's not the intention of this document. It does follow the standard, be it minimized, engineering design process where we go through a series of steps, and let me walk you through that right now. Let's make sure we follow the instructions first of all. Important instruction right here says replace all blue text in this document with your own words. So wherever there is blue text, I've inserted some instructions and some tips what you should be putting in that section, but that should disappear. You should be deleting it and putting in your own words. The words should be black too, not blue. All right. So step one in any problem that we're working on is, what are we doing? What are we working on? This doesn't have to be a novel. It is totally okay to say, we are building the Delta Dart airplane or Delta Dart flying machine airplane. Do not call it a glider. It is not a glider. Gliders don't have propellers on them. Gliders are not capable of self-powered flight. Airplanes are, and flying machines are, okay? So Delta Dart airplane, that's it. We're building the Delta Dart airplane. Step two, what are your research and brainstorming? Typically, this would have all the research you did on the internet, and then your own ideas for how you're gonna meet this challenge or solve this problem. Well, you were given a kit, right? So you didn't have to come up with a whole lot of ideas yourself. And that's totally cool. Sometimes we're going to be working from a kit. So all you're going to do in here is, how did you know how to build the Delta Dart? Where did you get the instructions that you needed to build the Delta Dart? Well, it was a series of videos like this, right? So it is totally fine to take the link to the YouTube playlist to my channel of all the Delta Dart videos and just drop that link right in here. That was your resource that you used for building this, this Delta Dart. That's totally fine. That's all you got to do. Now, when it talks about coming up with a plan and all that stuff, normally if we had designed our own solution, we would put some words, some diagrams, pictures, whatever in here. But we're not doing that. Again, we're just following a kit. So what I do want you to do is to take a picture of your Delta Dart and just drop it in the document using your laptop. Don't use your phone. It's no need to go through that. It's kind of complicated. And here's how you do that. I'm going to show you on the board. Now, I can't actually do it right now because I can't record a video and take a snapshot with my webcam at the same time. But I pre-populated the document, and you're gonna do it the same way. So you would just get to where you need to be in the document, and you literally, it's this easy. You say insert, image, camera. Now it's saying, oh, you can't do that because another app's using the video, the camera. Yeah, this recording is. But on yours it won't do that. It'll just show a picture and you will click on the camera and then click on the word insert, and whammo bammo, it drops a picture of your Delta Dart in there and you're done. That is all you have to do for that step. And then testing, okay? The objective, what is our objective on testing? Our objective is for our Delta Dart to fly straight and level. That's what we want airplanes to do, right? We want them to fly straight and level. Very simple. You put that in your own words. Might be very similar words to what I used, and that's fine. And then you're going to test it a couple of times, okay? And you test it and test it outside, all right? In a grassy area, away from hard things like buildings and trees and lampposts and things like that. Because this is kind of fragile. Airplanes, by their very nature, are fragile, even the gigantic ones, okay? They're fragile because they're very, very lightweight. They have to be lightweight to fly. And so what you're going to do, you're going to go out there and you're going to test it a couple of times, all right? And I left space for 3 tests. That's really up to you. Usually people like to test it at least twice because you do wind this up. Now I wind it, and I believe this is in the last video, final assembly. I wind it and wind it and wind it and wind it until this rubber band is what I call like double knotting itself. And you'll see what I mean as I wind it. You start getting these bigger twists in it because it's already twisted all the way up, and as you keep going with it, it twists upon itself again and makes kind of like this fat double twisted rubber band. You'll see what I mean, okay? And that's usually pretty good, all right? You don't have to wind it much more than what I'm doing right now, okay? There is a little bit of a technique. Get out there in an open area, away from hard things. You don't want your plane to hit anything. And you're going to let go of the propeller and then gently kind of throw your plane. And you do want to throw it level, okay? Don't throw it down. Don't throw it straight up. You want to throw it kind of level. It takes a little bit of practice, all right? But usually after 1 or 2 tries, you have a pretty good throw, okay? That's why I put it on there. And all I want you to do is to write what happened on your first test when you flew it. You know, did it go straight level? Probably not. Don't be disappointed. Did it go straight down? Did it go straight up? Did it curve really dramatically one way or the other? And then I want you to write or just highlight whether you think that was a pass or a fail. If it didn't fly straight and level, it was a fail, okay? And it probably won't. Because despite what the Delta Dart people say, this is not really ready for straight and level flight right now, okay? I'm gonna let go of the propeller and you would throw it. And the reason for that is this, ooh, that was close to the camera. This plane, as carefully as we built it, it's not perfect, all right? The wings aren't perfectly square and perfectly flared up. It's not. We didn't have the same tools that aerospace engineers have when they build things. So it's going to have issues, okay? And most of the planes, when you fly them without control surfaces, see there are no control surfaces, the most common thing it does is either it noses down right away, or it goes straight up and then just runs out of thrust and kind of flutters down to the ground. If your plane does that, stop. You only need to test it 1 time because testing it over and over again is not going to improve that, okay? Now, if you just kind of had a wonky throw and kind of threw it crooked, you can make that judgment for yourself. But it's going straight up and running out of thrust, or it's kind of going straight down. That's it. That's what your plane is going to do, okay? But we are going to put control surfaces on the plane, okay? And so my plane is done. I fill out the dock as far as I can. Remember, ask is we're building the Delta Dart airplane. The resources I used to build it just a link to my playlist in YouTube. What did I build? What did I come up with? Well, just insert a picture of your Delta Dart. By the way, if you don't complete this project, I still want you to insert a picture of your uncompleted project. And then we test it once, maybe twice, and we write down how it did, and then we highlight or underscore, however you want to mark it, whether it was a pass or a fail, okay? Chances are, about 80% of you, it's not going to fly very well. And so we are going to add what we call control surfaces. The diagram on the screen right now shows the main control surfaces of any aircraft. And yes, I mean any. All airplanes have these control surfaces. Now, there are some very, very futuristic ones that are coming out there being built by NASA and such. And yeah, they don't have control surfaces as we currently understand them. But the vast majority of planes in the world do, okay? Non-experimental planes, okay? So anyway, they're the control surfaces. And they are elevator, rudder, and aileron, okay? The elevator and the rudder are on the tail of the plane, and you can see I've added the control surfaces to this Delta Dart here. And this is the rudder, and these are the elevators, and the ailerons are right on the tip of the wing. So what do? They are critical. The wings of the plane, all the wings of the plane do is provide lift. That's it, okay? As air starts flowing over the wings provide lift, get your airplane off the ground, and keep it off the ground, right, as it's flying along. But the control of the aircraft really comes from these control surfaces, thus the word control surfaces. They control the plane. So as the pilot is flying along, I don't know, he's flying from here to California or whatever, they're using these teeny little control surfaces on the plane, the ailerons, rudder, and elevators, to control everything the plane does. There are some other control surfaces that come into play during takeoff and landing. We're not going to talk about those. Excuse me, I have a little bit of a dry throat today. We're just going to talk about these because this is how you're going to test your plane. Now, the elevator, okay, what does the elevator do? I have a little description in the doc here. The elevator makes the plane pitch up and pitch down. Easy to remember. What does the elevator or building do? Makes you go up, makes you go down, okay? Same thing here. These elevators, this is on the tail here. And if I put the elevators in the up position, in other words, I just fold up this little piece of tape. So it's kind of up, all right? Can you see that? There you go. Maybe you can see it. I folded it up, all right? We'll make the plane nose up, or pitch, they say. It will pitch up. If I fold the elevators down, okay, it'll make the plane pitch down. The rudder, just like the rudder on a boat, if I bend the rudder to the right, the plane will turn to the right. If I bend the rudder to the left, and when I say bend it, you're just folding that tape over a little bit. You can see I've folded it over to this side a little bit. It'll make it go to the left. So the elevator, put the elevator up, plane goes up. Put the elevator down, plane goes down. Put the rudder to the left, plane turns to the left. Put the rudder to the right, plane turns to the right. Okay, so a very common situation that we have with these planes is when we throw them, they go like straight up. Okay, at least the ones I build do, and a lot of the ones I've seen other students build too. They go straight up and they run out of thrust and then they just kind of flutter back to the ground. Pretty disappointing flight. okay? Well, if it's going up, what do we need to do to the pitch of the plane? Well, we need to pitch it down. It's going too much upward force. We need to pitch it down. How do I adjust my elevators? If I want the plane to go down, the elevator goes down. So I'm going to bend those down, retest my plane. You will probably see a very dramatic change in the plane. But how do we get these control surfaces on here? Really, really simple stuff, okay? I am going to tilt my camera down, get my face out of it first of all. And there's my Delta Dart. All it is a piece of masking tape. I'm going to get it kind of close. And you're going to tear a piece of masking tape just a couple inches long, okay? And it's just going about from here to here. I'm going to do the elevator first. And what you want to do is you just want the edge of the tape to be taped on to the edge of what's called the horizontal stabilizer. And just on the edge. And, you know, gently press it on a little bit. You don't have to get too rough with it. And we want to fold it over. So I just flip it over. And again, I just want this edge to catch the edge of the horizontal stabilizer. So I'm folding the tape. And I know my fingers are in the way, and catch it just barely on the edge. And then just kind of flatten it out like that, okay? So you fold it over so it's taped on the bottom, it's taped on the top, and there's no sticky surface exposed, right? Whoop. All right, now do the same thing with the other side. You want them to be the same size. Now this one's a little bit long, so let me just snip a little bit off. Yeah. And again, I'm just putting it on the edge, and you want it in about the same place as you did the other one. I'm just taping it on the edge a little bit. And then I am folding it over on the edge, just the edge. And once it's in place, I'm going to smooth it out, okay? There, I have two elevators, one on each side. Now I can control the pitch of the plane up or down based on how I've set my elevators. Now I also may need to control whether the plane has a tendency to turn to the right or to the left. If it's just doing it a little bit, it's, you know, not that big a deal, but some of them do it a lot, where they curve, almost fly right back to you. That's not what we want. We want straight and level flight. Well, we control the right or the left movement of the plane, just like you would control it in a boat with a device called a rudder, okay? So that's this vertical one back here that's on the vertical stabilizer. So I'm going to take, just like I did, camera down, just like I did for the elevators, I'm going to take a piece of tape, just about 2 inches long, all right? How long is 2 inches? Well, it's about as long as your index finger, maybe a little shorter. And I'm going to just gently tape on the edge of the tape with the edge. Oops, I got it crooked. You do need to put it on here pretty straight. There we go. Okay, tape the edge and flip it over and just catch the edge again on this side, just like we did the elevators. Once I have it in place, I can pinch it and kind of smooth it out. There we go. I have my horizontal stabilizers. My control surfaces. I have the two in the back. The ailerons, You can put those on. Those are the ones that go at the tip of the wings. I'll do that for you real quickly. They're pretty small. They're actually small on real planes too. If you want to put these on here, we don't really use them much because what the ailerons do, they control the roll of an aircraft. And I'm just going to put it on like I did the ones in the back. If you want to put them on here, that's totally fine, and just catch the edge. You'll get the idea. After you do your first elevator, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, okay? You don't have to put these on. They don't play that much a role in what we are trying to do is straight and level flight. They really come into play when the airplane is turning, and they allow the airplane, instead of just turning to the right or to the left, they allow it to bank, okay? Which, not really part of what we're doing. Okay, so there's my plane with my control surfaces on it, okay? Now, I want a picture of this guy too, so we just go down to the document, okay? Doc's still up on the board. And I would go down here and I would just click Insert Image, Camera, and then click Boom, Camera. Again, I can't do it right now because I can't record and take a still photo at the same time. I think there's a way to do it, but it's not that important right now. But you see, I inserted an image of my airplane, my Delta Dart with my control surfaces on there. I inserted that previously, all right? Now, our test looks a little bit different, okay? Looks a little bit different. For each test, I want you to tell me what was the attitude of the rudder, what was the attitude of the elevators. And attitude is just a pilot word, all right? Saying, what is the position, okay? Now, when they're on here and they're just sticking out straight, they're not really doing anything. They're not controlling the flight of the aircraft. That is called the neutral position, okay? So if something is neutral, it means it's not affecting it one way or the other, okay? But if I do want to affect it, like for example, remember I said a lot of these planes fly straight up in the air and then just run out of thrust and fall back down. Very disappointing. If it's flying up too much, I need to put some down influence on it, right? And we talked about up here, remember the elevator. If you adjust the elevator up, it makes the plane go up. If you adjust the elevator down, it makes the plane go down. So since the plane usually, they just kind of go sailing straight up, not always, yours might be different, okay? It's going to depend on your plane. You're going to decide what settings you need. And so I am going to say, okay, I've already tested my plane, right, without the control surfaces. I did that back in here. I did a couple of test flights without control surfaces, wrote down what happened, and then marked it as a pass or a fail. So let's say my plane flew straight up in the air and just fluttered back down. I would write that. Flew straight up and came straight down, all right? And whatever your plane does. Your plane maybe went straight down. You just went straight down. So when you're doing your next set of tests with the control surfaces, you're like, how do I want to influence the flight of my plane? Okay? And so I'm going to just say, for argument's sake, my plane flew straight up. So what I'm going to do, I need some downward influence. So I'm going to adjust these elevators down. Okay, I just fold down the tape. Now, you don't have to fold them down very much. It is actually quite remarkable how such a small change in the control surfaces have a big change on the way the airplane flies. And that is true for real planes as well. When you see a great big plane, if you could see a film of one flying through the air and going up and down and turning left and right, you would notice those control surfaces in the back of the plane are only moving a little bit. It doesn't take much. All you got to do is change the airflow, and it changes the force on the tail of the airplane, this tail assembly, and it makes it go right, left, up, down, okay? Now, also, if your plane was turning really radically to the right or the left, you want to adjust your plane accordingly. Let's say your plane was turning really, really hard to the left. Well, then I needed to go kind of to the right. I need the opposite of that. So I would adjust my rudder to the right, okay? So, that's it. So fill out the doc in very few words, a couple of internet links, a picture of your Delta Dart, test it. And again, if when you test your plane the first time without control surfaces, if it just goes straight down or straight up, there's not much you're going to do to change it with the way you throw it. So just call it a day. Go on and put the control surfaces on. So you'll come down here, you'll put the control surfaces on, you will take another picture, and you will test it a second time, but you're going to use those control surfaces to control how your plane flies. And hopefully it'll fly a whole lot better and you'll be a happy camper, okay? That's about it for this video. You know what to do with the document. You're putting in pictures, you're putting in your test results, and I showed you how to install the control surfaces, all right? So with that, I'm gonna wrap up this video and happy flying, all right? Bye-bye.